here for such an esteemed audience. Big companies, big names, in shipping and financing. And then Sohar Port Freezone feels a bit like the odd one out. However, we are, of course, the crucial link between sea and land, and we are accommodating trade in every aspect. We are here to support and assist and help you. And that's also the reason why we have sponsored these badges and lanyards to remind you today and every day that Sohar Port Freezone is your gateway to innovation and opportunities. But you might not be fully aware with Sohar Port Freezone. Actually, this year is our 20th anniversary. We were established, or started actually in 2004 with operations, joint venture between Asyad Group of Oman and Port of Rotterdam of the Netherlands. And we are truly a gateway to Oman. So 70% of all imports and exports coming into, going out of Oman go via Sohar. And actually 45% of the total Omani trade value, which is roughly $40 billion per year, goes via our port in our free zone. We are very well connected, and in the meantime, in those 20 years, $27 billion roughly have been invested in our port, and it is continuing. So just a short overview, or a brief overview of Port and Free Zone. We are fully integrated port and free zone. So we're under one company, we're under one management, there's a bonded corridor, so it's really integrated ecosystem, if you like, of port and free zone. We're an industrial cluster and a logistics hub. We're, of course, connected overseas to the GCC, Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, Far East, but also to Europe, and over road to Riyadh. And inshallah, in 2027, we have the rail connection to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So we are a well-diversified port. Like I said, logistics hub and industrial cluster. So we have liquid, dry, break bulk terminals, containers. We have refineries, plastic factories, steel mills, a food cluster. And hopefully by the end of this year, a final investment decision will be taken for the investment establishment of liquefaction natural gas factory, LNG factory in our port. And next to let's say the terminal services and the manufacturing services that we have a full portfolio of marine services, comprehensive ship-to-ship, husbandry, hull cleaning, MARPOL waste collection and bunkering. As far as the tanker mark or the liquid bulk offering is concerned, we have 6 jetties, storage facilities, and in the greening of the trade, we are moving from, let's say, the fossil mineral, the oil products, to more the biofuels. I mentioned already LNG, biodiesel, methanol, ammonia. That is the trend, that is the way we're going. So how about this financing? Well, if you talk about financing, trade and shipping, I think there are some fundamental developments that are not just for shipping and financing, or ports for that matter, but are much more broader. First and foremost, everywhere you look, everywhere you go, transparency is the name of the game. Real-time, dynamic entry to information. Knowing what is happening, knowing exactly what the status is, and that has to do with shipping, that has to do with ports, that has to do with financing, what have you. ESG mentioned before is must be in the veins of all companies. It's the responsibility, it's the reporting. Sohar, we have an ESG policy, and we have implemented that in everything that we do, in our business strategy, in our business plans, in our action plans, in our KPIs. IMO, you could say a bit late in the game, but finally they've also moved to setting rules and regulations for decarbonization and for greening the shipping industry, amongst others with CII, the decarbonization program, which will push shipping into shipping lines, ship owners into greener. But also, of course, also the ship owners themselves are taking steps with the Poseidon Principles, which is more voluntarily, but it's a growing group of companies that hold each other to a greener form of doing business, a greener form of shipping. And that also has to do, of course, with the financing of the future of the vessels. Shippers play an important role. Shippers, consignees, cargo owners that want to make sure that they can report in their ESG regulations that they are moving forward with greening. Scope 1, 2, 3. They have to prove, they have to report, they have to show that they are working towards a greener future, and that then cascades down to the shipping industry and the financing industry. And last but not least, especially for US and Europe, it's the public opinion, it's the political opinion, it's the pressure that is put on companies to go to green. Even in the Netherlands, you might be aware that Shell has been taken to court to force Shell to go to a greener future. And actually, Shell has lost that case and is forced to take more green measures. So that is also the public is putting more pressure on the industry to become green. Rightfully or wrongfully, it is happening, and it's something we certainly have to deal with. So if you don't look at the green shipping, I mean, what is there a port can do apart from, you know, making sure that we comply with all the regulations, that we have our ESG principles and what have you? Well, first of all, incentivizing green shipping. That's, for instance, what we have with the Environmental Ship Index or the Green Award, where clean vessels, where there's conditions for clean vessels. There are criteria for clean vessels, and if you reach certain criteria, you get a reduction on your port use. That in itself is not going to change the 140 million or 150 million investment into a vessel, but it's adding to the move towards green. Shore power, important. That's something that we're now seriously investigating to make sure that the vessels can switch off and use land power in our port. Biofuels, our own tugs are using biofuels, B20 at this point in time, and we aim to get further. And at the end, of course, we should move to clean fuels. LNG, I already mentioned it. I hope that later this year the final investment decision will be taken so that we can produce LNG and also use that as a bunkering fuel. Of course, that is an intermediate. It will diminish CO2, but will not bring it to net zero. But still, in everything that needs to happen and all the uncertainty that is still there with methanol, ammonia, which is going to be hydrogen maybe, then LNG is something that really works as of today. And to make sure that we have that full portfolio of bunker fuels from fossil, LNG, bio, methanol, ammonia, and what have you. That is what a port can do to assist shipping and shipping lines into getting greener and showing, improving, also via the ESG and reporting to the financiers, to the public, to the politicians, that the move is made to a greener future. And if we then look at the bunker proposition, I already mentioned it, so we want to have a broad portfolio from fossil to LNG, bio, methanol, ammonia. But what is also important in the bunkering is the transparency, because the bunkering world is, let me put it mildly, not completely transparent. And we have taken the decision, we're going to make the decisive step to move towards transparent bunkering, which means the use of mass flow meters, the use of digitalization, so that ship owners, shipping lines that take on bunkering in our port, they know exactly the quantity, they know exactly the quality of the bunkering they have taken in. So there's that certainty. So we move from a bit of, not so certain environment now to a reliable, trustworthy, efficient and customer-friendly bunkering environment, in line with what is already there in Singapore and what is happening now in Rotterdam and Antwerp. And also in line with what big players like Trafigura are asking from the shipping lines and the ship owners and the bunker parties. Let's make this world transparent. So that is our way of contributing. This is our way, Sohar Port Freezone, of contributing towards transparent, green, reliable, and efficient supply chain. And Sohar Port Freezone invites you to work with us on that goal. Thank you very much for your attention.